Hey yo guys, how we doing? Well, don't expect this video to be the most fun, I guess. Even though I like dark humor, the YouTube doesn't like it anymore. So we are gonna react today on this guy called Maku. The title of this video really surprised me. 25-year-old, failure and hate myself.
There's no real goal behind this video, I just wanna vent. I think most people do that with their friends or family, but I don't have either, so I'll just upload it to YouTube. I suddenly have this desire.
You know, I wouldn't like to interrupt him, but yeah, I have to point out that it's pretty good to vent. You don't really know if he doesn't have a family or his family doesn't speak to him. Either is bad, but yeah, this is pretty bad, so I feel like only by doing this is pretty good.
Desire to talk because I've recently lost my job, and now I spend every night just lying in bed for hours, questioning myself, my future, my past, definitely. I think most people can relate to lying in bed and just not being able to fall asleep because your brain just suddenly wants to think a lot. But yeah, since I've lost my...
Yeah, but there's a difference lying in the bed, not being able to sleep, and lying in the bed the whole day. You take a purpose away from man and he loses happiness.
My job, it's been pretty bad. As you can tell by the title, I'm a 25-year-old bum at this point. I've had a job, it lasted for about a year, yeah, but it was never enough to get an apartment or something. And yeah, now I just wanna vocalize the thoughts and ideas that, yeah, plague me every night pretty much. Yeah, let's start at the beginning, I guess. I've been alone for most of my life. In primary school, I had something, I guess you could call them friends, yeah. But since the 5th grade, I've completely isolated myself from everyone. If you're wondering why the 5th grade in Germany is the first school switch that you have to go through. And since then, every school day looked pretty much the same for me. I came to the classroom.
You know, this guy doesn't look bad when you hear him speak. Like, literally, he sounds sane. As I was opening this video, I felt like he's gonna sound like an outcast, so I would guess he's not going to gym. My first advice to him would be going to the gym. People there are really supporting. I feel like he could find friends because he said that he outcasted himself. It was his choice, so yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Put my head on the table, tried to sleep, but that never really worked. Pretty much just lying around until the day's over. That was my school life, yeah. Pretty much since 5th grade until I was out of school. As you might imagine.
I mean, if you didn't do anything, you can't complain that you don't have any results. That's how it works, right?
My level of education because of that, not great, not great. My last school year was in 2018, and I've been a jobless until 2024, so 6 years of doing nothing. Then last year I've got a job as a sort of freelancer thing, but that's no more. That's my work life. In regards to school, why I fumbled school, it was never really about the tests or anything related to that. It was always the social aspect. I'm never good around people at all, but children especially, even back then, I could not function with anyone like that around me. And I think that can be traced back to basically insecurity about being judged. Because, let's face it, children are not the nicest.
Children are assholes. They would tell you anything, but you know, that's the thing. You can be alone and lonely. If he was in the class, just not speaking to anyone, and he hadn't minded, like, that's good. Be on your phone, I guess, scroll the things you like. I feel like he's not good with people, but at the same time he craves to be, you know, accepted.
Pretty judgmental, and yeah, I could not deal with that. Still can't, but so yeah, even today, any social interaction instantly gets me sweating, starts my heart pumping. What certainly...
Yeah, you're insecure and not confident, we can't say.
Didn't help is my weight. Throughout my entire childhood and teenage years, I was heavily overweight.
Alright.
I think at my peak I was like...
Now you're not, so that's kind of an improvement. I feel like we can trace his insecurity back to his childhood where he was fat, which I actually was like that as well.
135 kilograms.
Oh, I wasn't like that. I mean, I was heavy, but I was like 80 kilos and like 14 years old or something like that.
I started losing weight down to 80 kilograms,
right?
Which I managed to hold. That's something at least. I can't really explain why I did that. Like, that was a really weird time in my life. But I think at least subconsciously somewhere I was hoping that if I was happier with my physical appearance, it would help my mental state, right? Because body and mind connected and so on, right?
Trust me, bro, if you were to remain 130 kilos, you would be even worse.
That did not happen, not at all. It changed nothing. It could be because I'm still not exactly happy with my body.
Yeah, I would like to point out, it's not gonna make you happy if you're lean. It's gonna make you unhappy if you're fat. I mean, if you're thirsty, you think about nothing else than water. But if you drink water, it's not gonna make you happy. It's gonna make you able to do other things. That's the starting point. It's not supposed to make you happy.
When I step on a scale, it's fine, right? The number is fine. But
you're skinny fit,
basically,
right?
I didn't manage to lose all the dead skin that came from my high weight back then. And so when I stand in front of the mirror, it's still not exactly a nice thing to see. Yeah. So I think my looks always were a detrimental factor to my entire life.
Who am I to rate appearances, but he's fine. I mean, he's definitely not a model, but he's definitely not someone who would you fear based out of looks.
A few years ago, my therapist recommended me a full-time clinic to go to, which I did. I stayed there for 3 months, lived there the entire day. There were like working shifts in the morning for 4 hours. Going there, I hoped that it would help me, right? Because it was a clinic for people with mental health problems like myself. I hope that if I was around people somewhat similar to me, I'd be able to talk at all.
For instance, you got a nice English for being non-native. I mean, probably first thing to be proud of. And I would like to point out, nobody can make you feel happy more than yourself. If you only think other people can help you, and only them can help you and not you, it's kind of a restricting mindset, I feel like. And you guys already know that I'm not really bullshitting him with many sweet words like you're great, you should supposed to feel great. I mean, I'm just being realistic.
But that did not happen once again. I did my working shifts as was mandatory. Then after work was always food in the cafeteria. And once I've eaten, I went to my room and just waited for the day to be over. Yeah, I did that for 3 months. Then both myself and the staff agreed staying there would not be too much in my current mental health state.
If you finish your job and you go home to your room, if you're not doing anything, even if you know your long-term goals are hard, you can actually do like 0.1% of something in order to achieve that. But he didn't know what to do because I feel like he only lacks purpose.
So even the clinic didn't really change me, though it was mostly on me, right? I wasn't, maybe still, I'm not ready for big changes like that, I don't know. And the thing is, in my normal day-to-day life, I don't have a problem with being alone, not having anybody. At least it feels like that, right? I can easily entertain myself with other things, but it took a while to admit, but deep down, there is probably a part of me that wants some sort of bond with someone.
Yeah, I was talking exactly about that. He's clearly someone who doesn't need a lot of time with people in order to feel okay. Even the biggest introvert needs some kind of I don't want to say attention or praise, but something like, yeah, that's good, you're doing a good job.
The person that I have at all is my mom. I wouldn't really say we're close, like there isn't much of a bond really. It feels like more, I feel like it's more of an obligation for her because I'm her son.
Oh
I love my mom.
This is just sad.
I do, but not too long ago I did realize that she contributed to me being who I am in a negative way. We all know the let it be 10 years, first 10 years of your life are incredibly formative for your entire life. And when I look back at those years, if I had to describe the parenting she did, I'd call it the bare minimum. Like making sure I go to school, basically that I leave the house in the morning, right? As long as she didn't hear from the teachers, she didn't really care what I did at school. And then, of course, she made sure I had food on my plate, which I'm thankful for.
I mean, you call it bare minimum, but some people don't even have that. I mean, yeah, I get that there is more to being a parent than just giving kids necessities to survive. But let's face this, you're not a kid anymore, and the things that happened already in your childhood, but now you're an adult and there is no other person who is supposed to make you happy than yourself. Like let's put it like this. You can remain in your room like everything is your mom's fault. First 10 years is gonna determine your whole life. I mean, it's gonna have some impact on it, but you can still change your life significantly. Like you're a 25-year-old. If you were to look on the graphs of neuroplasticity, which means how your brain can adopt new things, actually in your 20s it's the highest.
But they are not the best things that happened. Around when I was 7 or 8, she got a new boyfriend who had a son. And my mom and the boyfriend often compared me to him, negatively, of course. And back then, I didn't really think much of it, but looking back at it now as an adult, you shouldn't do that, definitely not. While I met my mom, might as well talk about my family situation as a whole. Like I said, I have pretty much nobody, and that's because I cut off the rest of my family. It's not like I have a big family in the first place, because we originally migrated to Germany in 2004. And of course, not everyone came with us, so pretty much just a handful of people.
Alright, so he was just a kid when he went to Germany, so yeah.
I'm off for more logical reasons, I guess you'd call them. I don't gain anything from keeping in contact. Over time I realized there's a different reason. As I said, we've migrated over to Germany, and out of all my family members, my mom is the only one that really made an effort to integrate herself into this new country. The rest of my family just kept on living like they're still back in Kazakhstan, right? And what came...
Oh, he's from Kazakhstan. He actually doesn't look that Asian. I mean, that's just off topic, but yeah, I wanted to point that out. Yeah, but your family is not your only social thing, right? You can get a girlfriend, you can get some friends. Like, I feel like he's at the point where my family doesn't accept me, so nobody else would, but that's just straight up not true.
That is a language barrier. I mainly learned German.
This is true. I can relate to that.
Right, I moved over when I was 4, so my Russian was very bad. So all my family only speaks Russian, and while I mainly speak German, so there was this language barrier. Whenever I talked to someone out of my family, it felt like I had to play like a character, you know?
I mean, being yourself is probably the worst advice ever. I mean, being yourself, if you're cool, is great, but being a cool guy, it takes a work. It doesn't just happen. If you look good, it takes work. People are not just born pretty. Look up the allegedly pretty celebrities without any makeup and so on. Let's say if you were to start drawing when you were like 10, now would you have a 15 years of experience when it comes to art? And imagine what things you could have created with that, and I feel like that could have spoken for itself, and I feel like that will make you more likable. But the drawing was just an example. He could have done anything, but he hasn't mentioned any hobby he did, like, and probably when he did something it was just like from an obligation, not that he wanted to do something.
Positive from them, I cut off contact with my entire family.
Alright, that's cool. What about your friends?
So I spent my entire day watching YouTube, playing games, and that works. I can push away reality.
And gooning probably, but who doesn't do that?
During the day. But like I've said, at night, the questions pop up. what are you doing, what will you be doing, and what have you done in the past. And of course, you come up with solutions to the situation, right? Like one thing I could do is talk with people online, be it Discord or some sort of community, I don't know. I've never done that before, right? Even though I'm an addict, internet addict, I never had a Discord account, I never was part of a community, never texted anyone online, because even that's it's too much. Any sort of social interaction is too much.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know where I'm going in my life. Yeah, but I think I've said everything I have to.
Don't know where to go if you don't take the first steps, right? It doesn't just happen. It's a process. You firstly started with doing push-ups, then I went to street workout, then I found out that I can go to gym, and I found my friends there. It's not only gym, and it can be literally anything. It can be like a chess club or anything. It doesn't look stupid, right? Like you can't think what I'm gonna do if you didn't do anything. So I would literally rate this 3 out of 10. Like the position he's at right now, I have to say it's the result of his actions. So I feel like giving this man a purpose would be great, and stop saying in comments that you don't know, you haven't been in his shoes. Like, bro, you haven't been in any of people's shoes. You literally can't make that argument, because you were born the way you were born, and you have to play the cards you were given, I guess. Yeah, let's check the comments real quick. Bro, you need a hug for real. Yeah, I mean, maybe yeah, but that's not gonna make solution. He doesn't have long-term goals. Feel you, brother. I'm 27, no job, no career, never had GF, 0 friends, I'm being hopeless. Your fault. I mean, let me put it like this. If it's good to vent out those things, but it's bad to think that it was like other people's fault and not mine. Your English is extremely good, mate. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like being able to speak German, a little bit of Russian, and also English, that's kind of impressive. I feel like you should start something with languages. There are many other people. You know how much people are there who would like to learn German but can't? You can start a job out of that, like providing German lessons, but it could actually take some work, but I feel like you would be great at it. Anyways guys, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and see you in another video, so bye bye.